It's time for another episode of the Film Room, and today we're going to take a look at Penn State defensive end pass rusher Abdul Carter. Here's a player that's ranked as most people's either number one or number two best players in this 2025 NFL draft, and we're even getting a lot of comparisons to another Penn State linebacker in Micah Parsons, who is one of the better pass rushers in the NFL. So if you're not familiar with what I like to do in these videos, I like to take clips from different games to showcase, highlight, illustrate the type of player, in this case, Abdul Carter is. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get into the tape. Now, the first thing that people will notice about Abdul Carter is he's a speed rusher. So here he is against Notre Dame, lined up as the left defensive end, and he just has that speed, that quickness to beat tackles around the edge and get into the quarterback. And here we see against Notre Dame, he's able just to abuse this right tackle, kind of go at him and then burst around the edge to hit the quarterback, hit Riley Leonard, and force the incompletion here. And that is Carter's go-to move. Here we see against Ohio State, he's lined up, 7 technique right here, maybe a 9. It's just, that's his go-to. He's got the speed, he's got the quickness, he's got the bend, and you have to account for that. You have to know that you've got to be able to get depth, you've got to be able to get your hands, and you have to try and hope, because it's going to be hard to cut him off. We see right here, Donovan Jackson playing left tackle after moving out from guard. He's at a disadvantage, and he's got to be able to hopefully get his hands on him and have enough strength to push Carter past the pocket. In this case, he's not able to. We see a little rip move there, and then Carter has that burst to finish. And because he has that speed, because he has that bend, he's going to put you on your heels right from the start. All right, we see that speed here against West Virginia. Carter lined up left defensive end, 5-ish technique. And we see the speed here. This right tackle, because they've got the other defender right here, he doesn't know who to block. I don't know if he's thinking he has help inside. But he ends up leaving Abdul Carter free, which is always a mistake. And this is where we see that speed for him just to burst through and end up getting a half sack with his teammate. But even if that teammate wasn't there, he's having this sack to begin with. And it just shows his main weapon, his main move is using that speed, using that quickness to get in and attack the quarterback. And then as we see here, as he's able to get to the edge here, he does get stopped initially, but then he's able to just use that speed and quickness to get around and get the quarterback as he's stepping up into the pocket. And like I said several times, this is his foundation. This is where he makes his hay. And if you're not able to cut him off on that edge or push him past the pocket, he's able to either get to the quarterback or loop around you to get the fleeing quarterback. Now, what makes Abdul Carter so good is not only does he have that speed rush, his go-to move, but he's also got several counters off of that. So here against West Virginia, see him right defensive end. He's going to push out like he's going to go on that speed rush, just like he has before, but then a nice little fake inside and was able to shoot inside to force that quarterback off his spot. And while he didn't get the sack here, didn't even get a quarterback hit, his pressure flustered that quarterback enough that he had to move out to his left and end up throwing a bad ball. Another counter that he has, we see here against Notre Dame, lining up on the left side. He's going to push at this right tackle, and he's going to get kind of caught on the edge, but then he just uses his strength to power through that. So not only do we see the speed he can win through, but hey, you've got to make sure that you cut him off. You've got to make sure that you have power. Otherwise, he's going to push right through you and still get the sack. And he's doing this against Notre Dame with one arm. His left arm, as you can see, it's got that sleeve on it. He could barely use it in this game. And he still had the power. He still had that ability to push through this right tackle and finish with the sack here. Now another counter that he has, we see right here against Ohio State, lined up, 7 technique here. And, still once again, it's pushing that speeder on the edge. But then he's got a nice little quick spin move that he's able to get. And it doesn't really affect the play, doesn't get a sack here. But we do see that he's got that in his arsenal. Maybe needs to be a little bit more under control, kind of slip there at the end. But he's got that speed. That speed allows him to set this move up, spin hard inside, especially if that left tackle oversets deep. Nice little spin move inside. We see another version of this spin move here against Notre Dame, lining up once again on the left side. They try to chip him, and what I love here is he does this spin move. He doesn't really go anywhere with his spin, but it allows him to get to the edge and catches that right tackle kind of not closing off the inside, and he's able to then shoot in to get the sack here. And what I just love here is, once again, it's not a super spin, but it just kind of allows him to kind of maybe stay free and not get the right tackle to lock in on him. He kind of avoids that chip too. And then, like I said, that right tackle is leaving the inside wide open, and then he uses that burst right there. Now that I've shown you him rushing the passer, how is he against the run? Well, just like he did with his speed against rushing the passer, we see his speed show up as well. So here against Notre Dame, he's the left defensive end, playing about 5'6" high, whatever it may be. And they're going to do a little toss, sweep type off tackle. And he reads this right away. And I just love the speed that he shows to go all the way to the other side of the numbers to be able to make this play. Not only does he read it going inside, but then he just has that burst, that acceleration to run across the formation, chase this running back down who has to go wide, and then finishes it off. We see another example of that here against West Virginia. This time he's on the right-hand side. They're going to run inside here, and I just love the power and the burst to get down the line, help fill that hole, help collapse that hole. And while he didn't make the tackle, he still was able to cause enough havoc down there, essentially taking out a couple offensive linemen and allowing his teammate to kind of come in and clean that up. All right, now we got to see how Carter is at the point of attack. So here against Ohio State, he's lined up, right defensive end. He's got the left tackle and the tight end on his side. And at the snap, he's able to engage with the left tackle, hold the point of attack. It looks like he's kind of got not a hard edge, but he's got the ability that he could shoot off to the inside or go inside. And that's what happens. The hole opens up to his left. He's able to shed and be in a good spot. Now, the left tackle ends up holding him and dragging him down. However, he's still able to, he's in a great spot. It didn't look like they called this for holding. Probably should have been. But once again, he's in a great position, got the point of attack, shedding inside. Looks like he should have been in there to be able to make that play. And then the last clip of him against the run, we see him kind of hiding behind the goalposts here. Just going to use this quickness to kind of come in, juke the left tackle, and just be in a spot right here. Now, the running back, I don't know if he sees him or just sees the hole opening, but cuts it up inside. But this is another example of how he can use his ability to kind of come in, just use that quickness, quick little lateral cut, and he's right in a position if that running back keeps going outside. He's in a position to be able to make that tackle. All right, and then the last clip that I want to show, now he isn't going to be asked to do this much, but Carter does show the ability to drop in coverage. So here he is, right defensive end. And at the snap, he's just going to drop back He does a pretty good job of staying, a little quick stumble, but he's right there with this tight end, this big receiver. He's probably more of a tight end. Not a dynamic route, but once again, showing the ability to drop into coverage, to adjust out. Like I said, trips a little bit, but does show that ability if need be. I kind of view him as a more of an outside linebacker pass rusher, so they might have him drop occasionally, but I think you're going to want to use him primarily as a pass rusher. But like I said, he does show that ability. There is so much to like about Abdul Carter as a 2025 NFL draft prospect. As you can see from the clips, he's a true pass rusher, the best pass rusher in this 2025 class. He's got good size, 6'3", 252 pounds. It's not elite. You'd love to have a guy like 6'5" or 6'6". But his size, 252 pounds is not light. I'll be kind of curious to see what he is at the combine. Sometimes they tend to be a little bit lighter, but 252 pounds is pretty solid, especially when you see that speed and quickness that he has. If you take a look at a guy like Micah Parsons, who he's compared to, Parsons was 6'3", 246 pounds at the combine. So it'll be kind of curious to see what Carter is, how he compares to him physically, like metrics and all that. But like I said, if you need a pass rusher, here's a guy that is more of that outside linebacker. You're not going to put him with a hand in the ground much, and if you are, it's going to be out on the edge. You want him off on that edge, running free. Whether it's a 3-4, some 4-3 fronts, he could play in as well. But I think if you have a shot to draft him and you need a pass rusher, you're going to find a spot for him. His speed, his moves, he's got more room to grow, especially with his pass rushing moves. But he does real well setting up his speed with those counter moves, like I said. He's a lock, I think, to be picked in the top 5. We don't know where, just because a team could move up. The Tennessee Titans have the number 1 pick as of this recording. They could easily take him if they don't want like any of the quarterbacks. Or a team could move up to get a quarterback. But I think Cleveland at 2 would take him. The Patriots at 3 would take him. Jacksonville would probably take him, even though they've got a lot of other areas. Maybe they won't, but I think Tennessee is another team, especially if they trade back just a little bit and he's still available. So that's going to go ahead and wrap it up. There's not a whole lot to say about Abdul Carter. I don't know if he's quite Micah Parsons, but he definitely plays in that mode. Maybe more of a Nolan Smith comparison. Nolan Smith went late first, early second. I can't remember off the top of my head. Probably should have gone higher in my opinion. And Abdul Carter, I think he's a tremendous player, and he definitely fits that speed, the speed, smaller pass rusher. Hassan Reddick's another guy that you kind of compare him to. So I hope you enjoyed this. The best way to get these is to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell for all the notifications. While you're out there, you can follow me on any social media. Draft_Brian is where you can find me there. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Till next time.